Okay, so let's review what we talked about in the last little short video. So, elements of the introduction paragraph. So, remember, we have the hook, that's what grabs the reader's attention. We have a clarifying information, that's what's going to make us understand what that hook was about. We're going to narrow the topic because remember, we're going from, that picture of the upside down triangle. It shows it very wide at the top and very narrow at the bottom. So that's what we're doing. We're narrowing the topic. And then we have our thesis. Of course, this is where we left off. So COVID-19 is hitting rural Indian communities the hardest in the areas of education, food scarcity, and medical facilities. So the important thing with this is that when we're going to move on to the body paragraphs in just a minute, but what's important for this part of the introduction is that you've listed three things. And I think it's always important to try to list three things. Again, in this early stage, when you're just learning how to write essays, if you articulate, if you say these things out loud in your paper, it helps to keep you on track. So you know what to put in your body paragraph. So again, we have education, we have food scarcity, and we have access to medical facilities. So as we move on to our body paragraphs, I want you to remember the order that we put these in. This is going to be body paragraph number 1. This is going to be body paragraph number 2, and this is going to be body paragraph number 3. So just remember that when you are talking about these different things. Okay, I'm just going to erase this so we can see what comes next. So now I've put it all in the form of a paragraph. So I've written it out just like you would a paragraph. So the first thing we do when we're typing is we indent. So notice the first line is indented. You do that by hitting the tab key on your keyboard. So let's look at it. Pandemic closes the world. Headlines like this appeared in many papers around the world in March due to the COVID-19 viral pandemic. In India, schools closed, transportation halted, and international travel was suspended. COVID-19 is hitting rural Indian communities the hardest in the areas of education, food scarcity, and medical facilities. So again, this is the format, the structure of our introduction paragraph. This is one paragraph. So remember, each paragraph is made up of a number of sentences, and then each essay is made up of a number of paragraphs. So again, we have the hook, clarifying information, narrowing the topic, and then most important of all is our thesis statement. And again, we're going to remember that we want to make sure that we do our body paragraphs, which we're going to look at in the next video: education, food scarcity, medical facilities. So remember that. Okay, so I've taken the webcam off just so that you can see this whole paragraph. So we talked about our three areas: education, food scarcity, access to medical facilities. Again, we're going to talk about those more in the body paragraph. So let's look at our paragraph as a whole. So I've written it out just like you would if you were writing your essay. So if you're typing an essay, even writing an essay, each paragraph starts with an indented line. So notice that line number 1 is indented. It goes in a little bit, right? The way that you do this on a keyboard is by hitting the tab key. If you tab at the beginning of each paragraph, it will automatically do that indented spacing. Okay, so let's look at our paragraph. Pandemic closes the world. Headlines like this appeared in many papers around the world in March due to the COVID-19 viral pandemic. In India, schools closed, transportation halted, and international travel was suspended. COVID-19 is hitting rural Indian communities the hardest in the areas of education, food scarcity, and access to medical facilities. Okay, so this is a paragraph. Again, it's a very short paragraph. It only has the 4 sentences. If you wanted to expand this, you might add another clarifying sentence which explains what a pandemic is. So maybe before or after the headline sentence, like maybe right in here, you might put something like pandemics and just define it a little bit. Pandemics are illnesses which spread around the world. They affect more than one country. Okay. So you could add that in to make your intro paragraph a little bit longer, a little bit more interesting, to have more information. But again, I'm trying to show you the basic elements of writing this essay. Okay, so the next little section, we're going to start talking about your body paragraphs.